based upon science.
Most Georgia businesses are allowed to reopen in the coming days, but can they? Why one restaurant owner says it's not that simple.
Breaking news at noon, a police officer is dead and a community is heartbroken. I'm Daniel Wilkerson. My live report is just ahead.
CBS 46 is in storm mode for Thursday, another severe weather threat in North Georgia. I'll tell you everything you need to know.
This is CBS 46 News at noon. Getting results.
A very busy afternoon. We're going to begin at noon with breaking news for you out of Cobb County. Loved ones devastated. Getting the news a police officer's family wants to hear. None of them. I'm Karen Greer. We're learning new details after the death of a Smyrna police officer. Now, our Daniel Wilkerson has been working his contacts with the department. And Daniel, you're just off the phone with an investigator. What a horrible accident late night into this morning.
Yeah, just off the... I tell you, a terrible accident. The police officer I spoke with says they are simply heartbroken. He's also used the word devastated. As you would imagine, when something like this happens, it affects the entire law enforcement family. Take a look. We were here when they lowered the flags at half-staff. I can tell you that I got new information here at noon from that contact with the police department. He tells me that they are looking, or in so many words, he said that either looking for someone or have someone in custody. And this is quite different from what we heard earlier, because we only knew that the officer had an accident. But he says they are starting the process of the criminal justice system. And so that is in works right now. Let's go ahead and get you some facts on what we know. This happened around 11:09 right at South Cobb Drive and Oak Drive. Paramedics took the driver of that other vehicle to a hospital. They took that person to Kennestone Hospital to be treated. We do not know that person's condition, but again, a lot of questions as we go into this noon hour. Back out here live, they're going to have a 3 p.m. press conference. We are going to be here for that press conference. As I said, they're remaining very tight-lipped. And so in that press conference, we expect to learn the name of that officer and more details about how this came to be. We're live in Cobb County. Daniel Wilkerson, CBS 46 News.
Daniel, thank you. Now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Georgia. Here are your latest numbers of cases here in our state. Out of 10 million people, there are more than 19,880 confirmed cases. That's almost 1,000 new cases from overnight. More than 3,700 people in the hospital here in Georgia. And unfortunately, almost 800 people have lost their battle with the virus. That's 66 more deaths than yesterday. Despite the ongoing pandemic, Governor Brian Kemp announcing that Georgia businesses can begin to reopen starting Friday, just 3 days away, but with strict protocols like checking for fevers among employees. Rebecca Schramm finding out some business owners simply not in a financial position to reopen.
Think about it. There are a number of restaurants and other small businesses that, even with the stimulus funding, haven't yet received a dime of funding. So for them, reopening right now is not an option. The Shed at Glenwood offers farm-to-table cuisine not far from Atlanta's Grant Park. These days, it sits empty because of the coronavirus shutdown. With Governor Brian Kemp's announcement, most businesses like gyms, beauty salons, nail salons, and barber shops can reopen Friday, and restaurants like The Shed can open their dining rooms Monday. But the owner here says that's anything but good news. In an email to CBS 46 News, he said to do so, we must now pay the back lease money, utilities, and buy supplies to reopen. Our employees will lose the meager amount of unemployment, and until the numbers of customers gets back up to speed, the tips most rely upon will not be at a sustainable level. When a reporter asked the governor how his decision is weighing on him personally, with this being one of the biggest decisions he'll ever make, this was his response.
Well, I can tell you I don't give a damn about politics right now. We also got to think about the effects on our economy and on these individuals from a mental health perspective, from a physical health perspective, and literally for people being able to put food on their tables.
It's also important to remember that just because the governor says businesses can reopen in the coming days doesn't mean they have to. In Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
Thanks, Rebecca. And just last Friday, I sat down one-on-one to talk to Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms about the possibility of reopening the city after President Trump announced he would put that decision in governor's hands. Mayor Bottoms telling me more testing needs to be done before she would feel comfortable putting people back to work. You feel like we are doing a good job getting more testing available, readily available to help with getting our numbers on par?
We may be better, but it's still terrible. We need testing. We need massive testing. We need to have people know whether or not they are infected. So much is unknown about this virus. We don't know if you can be reinfected.
The mayor's asked the COO of the city to head up an advisory panel to create a reopening plan for the city, and they will report back to her and with any recommendations on how to end the stay-at-home order by May 15th. Even more reaction coming in. Reopening Georgia. Stacey Abrams, a Democrat and 2018 candidate for Georgia governor, talking with CBS this morning about Governor Kemp's controversial decision.
This is about people's lives. We have people who are the most vulnerable and the least resilient being put on the front lines of contracting a disease that they cannot get treatment for. We have swaths of Georgia where we have no hospitals, no doctors, and no relief. But we're also one of the states that has the weakest public infrastructure. We have a hard time getting unemployment benefits. We have a hard time getting access to medical care. There is no legitimate reason for reopening the state except for politics, and I think it's deeply disingenuous that he would pretend otherwise.
Abrams went on to say she's partnered with several organizations and people, including Cory Booker and Andrew Yang, to get money to families who need it most during this time by providing $1,000 to 100,000 families receiving Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP benefits. All right, a lot of folks will be talking about that all day long, and they'll be talking about this. Stock market right now down 600 points, about 2.5%. We're going to continue to follow those numbers for you as we see the Dow down quite a bit right now. Now, remember, CBS 46 is leading coverage on the coronavirus outbreak with hourly updates for you on our powerful CBS 46 streaming app and on our CBS 46 Facebook page. Join us for our next update. That's in about an hour at 1 o'clock. All right, switching gears. Right now in Metro Atlanta, it's sunny and quite windy. Meteorologist Fred Campagna joining us with some changes on the way for Thursday. Already looking ahead, aren't you?
Yeah, well, we have to really, Karen, for Thursday because there is another severe weather threat in North Georgia. Let's talk about it. It's 3 out of 5 on the risk scale for the Atlanta metro area. As you get into the far northern part of the metro, it goes to a 2 out of 5, 1 out of the 5 in far North Georgia, and 3 out of 5 for damaging winds, for some isolated strong tornadoes, as well as for some flash flooding. It is about a 30% risk of seeing severe storms within 25 miles of where you are if you're in the area that's shaded in pink. And those hash marks mean that we could see some significant severe weather, talking about straight line winds over 75 miles per hour or EF2 or greater tornadoes. So that is what we are tracking for Thursday. We're in storm mode for Thursday. There will be thunderstorms in the morning, a lower chance that those are severe, a greater chance of severe storms coming late in the afternoon and during the evening. Again, those main threats, damaging winds, tornadoes, and flash flooding. We'll break it down for you hour by hour coming up. First, so here's a look from Cobb County at the Cloverleaf. You can see how good the visibility is out there. It's in the upper 60s and low 70s. A little breezy for us. A fine afternoon. The wind is gusting to 24 miles per hour in Atlanta. And as we go through this afternoon, temperatures will be in the mid 70s and then cool down into the 50s overnight tonight. We'll talk about what's ahead for tomorrow and much more about Thursday coming up.
All right, thank you so much, Fred. Just ahead, a party